Hello, welcome to Algorithms. My name is Saurabh, and today we are going to discuss about customer identity and access management. The reason I chose this topic because CIM has several differences from traditional enterprise-focused IAM solutions, and there is a greater emphasis on ease of use, privacy, consent management, I would say customer centric data security. I have seen integration with the CRM and other marketing systems for key sales and business initiatives. And moreover, it provides a gateway to customer and is one of the most important elements of any digital transformation program, and that's one of the main reason why I decided to talk about this topic. And if you remember, in the previous presentations I mentioned about six different foundational elements, and for zero trust architecture, and identity is one of them. So rather than talking about a generic identity and access management, I chose that okay, let's discuss about customer IAM, and then in next presentation I am going to cover enterprise focused IAM, so people are very clear in terms of definition as well as how it has to be implemented. So in this session we are going to discuss about what are the driving factors or what are the requirements for customer identity and access management. Okay, so as I said, means customer identity and access management. If you have worked on any project or application which is customer facing, you must have seen some of the requirements which are listed here. For instance, user experience. So this is typically the most important area in a customer IAM program, and generally a much greater area of importance than with the enterprise IAM programs, because here we are talking about customer facing applications that leverage customer identity and access management solutions. So the key element of user experience includes like response time. For instance, it has to be less than 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds, okay? And easy to use and flexible sign on process. So you must have heard about this word single sign on, and that's where it is referred. And engaging easy to understand user interface, simple self registration and update capabilities, as well as like reduction in repetitive user processes. Now, single sign on across multiple customer facing application. As I said, single sign on has become a common theme in the organization when it comes to identity and access management solution. But signing in multiple times from various applications and sites across a large organization is a major end user pain point and should be an area of emphasis in evaluating customer IAM solutions. So what this requirement says is it really depends, because some organizations have uh, made this a part of their enterprise architecture, that every new application or any upgrade happens, it has to support a single sign-on. But some organizations, they don't have that blanket rule in place. So they find it very difficult because they have a large customer base, plus their applications are spread across different geographies and so on and so forth. That makes it very difficult. But when they are designing, we have to think about how do we manage our single sign-on process, especially when it comes to B2C or B2B, like business to business or business to consumers. Okay. Customer self-registration and update. This is also a very important requirement in, for instance, I would say almost any other organization which is keeping customers' data. For instance, banks, government organization. So what happens, because users want to control their information and make sure that it is accurate. And there is also a greater trust in the data, because if we don't allow customers to update their information, for instance, if somebody is changing their phone numbers and they have to update it, but they are not given enough control to update that information, and they have to follow a different process where they write an email and then the organization takes care of those changes. It takes a very long time, and in some cases the process is so long it takes like a month or two. So just to cut this process short and to make it quick and to make sure that data is accurate, so now you assume if it takes 2 months, so all the systems which are integrated with this application which is consuming this data will be having incorrect customer information in terms of their telephone numbers, or if they are changing their address. And I have seen it in some of the banks where we designed customer data platforms. When I asked about the customer self registration and update process, they had in certain areas but not all over the place. Means all over the place, I mean to say, because the customers are using different applications, but it was not integrated uh, through APIs, so that this change can happen quickly as possible, because in certain cases you have to make those changes uh, as soon as possible to make sure that it is reflected in the correct format, as well as the accurate information, to make sure that the somebody else who is analyzing that data or using that data is taking the right decision. And other aspect is that you are giving control to users, that they own their PII data, personal identifiable information. This also generally results in more accurate data in a way. Cloud integration and cloud native support. So most IAM solutions are moving to cloud, but customer IAM is moving even faster than enterprise IAM, and is a key requirement for many enterprises. And the fact that the customers are generally geographically distributed and also leverage various SaaS applications, cloud support is critical. As I said, for the second and third requirement in terms of self registration and update here, because the customers are geographically distributed and they are using SaaS applications, so cloud support makes it very smooth in terms of how you are managing the application and maintaining it, and in terms of SLA as well, because some customers could be in one time zone, others could be in a different time zone. Customer enrollment, provisioning, deprovisioning, this is also one of the important requirement. So there are critical areas for most clients, in that they can either grow the relationship or end it at enrollment and provisioning time. So the enrollment needs to be seamless, and the deprovisioning needs to be fast, complete, and transparent as well, so that if all systems are not connected, it will be very difficult to decommission that information from a security and a regulatory perspective as well. So whether it is a financial institution, and in some cases like higher education as well, when students enroll themselves, and if the application does not go through due to some reasons, so that deprovisioning process has to be fast, and they have to make sure that they are compliant with the existing regulatory uh, 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 perspective as well. Bring your own identity. This is nowadays is very common. So this is critical for the extensibility and flexibility of your customer IAM solution, because all environments are not known and cannot be governed directly. So support for federated authentication, mobile IDs, phone numbers, and other BYOIs, as well as social media credentials, will increase adoption and lower risk. The mantra is federate what you can't directly manage and control. Simple, very simple. Okay. And if you look at Microsoft Azure and AWS solutions, Microsoft Azure has come up with a B2B and B2C solution in their IAM solution. So, for instance, if you are in retail business and if you have suppliers who are located, for instance, there are farmers and you are getting things directly from the farmers to your warehouse, so they can register to your portal using their Gmail or their Facebook IDs, and they get access to the inventory. If they see inventory is low, they can just make the request and supply those items directly to your warehouse. So in terms of process flow, in terms of management, in terms of quick delivery from the supply chain perspective, it makes a lot of sense. Customer identity, data management, and integration with authoritative source systems. So, from the digital transformation programs perspective, we have multiple applications, data sources, and services and tools to support. And this integration is critical to support that inclusion uh, and migration of these type of data sources while maintaining the security controls. So this is very specific to digital transformation projects where we are talking about integration of uh, different systems, different data sources and services, and I would like to add on-premise and cloud as well. So that's where you need to have the right tools, the right customer IAM tools in order to make sure that they support these things from the security controls as well as from the infrastructure perspective. Customer IAM integration with the customer facing portals and application. I just gave you one example about a retail business, how farmers can access their existing inventories and they can register themselves using their uh, uh, Gmail IDs. But unless the system supports federated identities, it is not possible. So, as I said, like B2C and B2B uh, federated identities are supported in Azure. So if B2C or B2B solution is implemented and enabled and implemented, they can suppliers can use it and they can um, put their request whenever it is required. So CIAM is an important infrastructure but still a tool in large customer facing programs and business initiatives. Single sign on and more seamless integration, often via RESTful APIs, are critical. Now, scalability. So even very large enterprise IAM services may get up to a few 100,000 person objects in the identity store. So this is, I'm talking about the enterprise IAM. So for instance, if you have X organization, they have enterprise IAM solution. So they might be having 100,000 persons within the organization. But when it comes to CIAM, customer identity and access management solutions, this number moves to millions significantly. For instance, you assume you uh, Uber, and there are other logistic companies like Amazon. Just imagine the number of consumers they have. And if you add IoT devices to this mix, the number can get much bigger. So the increased scale combined with the response requirements to engage and retain customer increases the importance of scalability of CIAM solutions. So if scalability is not there, your business will not be able to scale. So for instance, if you have 100,000 customers now and you target to have 500,000 customers in next 3 years, now if your solution does not support that level of scale and number of transactions, then it will be very hard for your business to respond in a way which is conducive to customer experience, I would say. Now, compliance with the regional privacy regulations consideration. So you must have heard about GDPR, right? So that's, I guess, this explains the whole story. So this includes gaining explicit consent for the use of data and having the right to erase data. That is, right to be forgotten based on user request. So it is incumbent upon the CIAM service to provide support for these capabilities, including the means of maintaining user consent data and proper audit trails. Because if you don't have it, because we are talking about customer, and customer could be, depending upon type of business you are in, the customer could belong to different regions, different countries. Now, if your customer IAM solution does not support GDPR regulations, then and it does not support proper integration, then again you might face the similar challenges, and there will be legal challenges as well. So I guess this is very important point from security and compliance perspective, just to make sure that you're compliant with the existing regulations. I would say one more, which is future state technology adoption. So it is often understood but important requirement is the ability to integrate with the migration to emerging technologies such as computing, edge computing, microservices, blockchain. I guess it really depends. Means some some companies are using blockchain and microservices. Some are on that path, but the type of business they support, it does not require too much microservices. Means they are still doing good with the with the applications they have, monolithic applications they have. So, but in some cases where the business is changing very fast and it has to be highly scalable, where you have to like release updates on a frequent basis. So DevOps is must, right? Now, if you have a CIAM solution but it doesn't integrate with the DevOps, then yeah, it's a challenge. So it really depends. Similarly, edge computing. If you are in a business of content delivery, and and the user experience is must. So if you are delivering a media content and it takes long time to for an end user to get to that exact content that they are searching for, then their willingness to come back to the site or to that portal goes down or declines. Now, so these are the considerations from the future technology state that your organization is planning to have. But yes, it is very good to talk to your enterprise architect or to IT strategy and architecture team to make sure that you understand what is the state of future architecture 2 years from now, 3 years from now, in order to make sure that, though in some cases they include, because this project, which is CIAM implementation, comes out of those projects, but still it is good to have a discussion and understand, so that from nuts and bolts perspective you make sure that those small minor things are included from the compatibility perspective as well, so that it does not happen that one the product that you are selecting is incompatible with the products which are available, which are being used in the organization, but at the same time they are not planning to integrate right at the time of project go live. So their plan is to have it integrated in next 2 to 3 years. Okay, I guess this is it from my side. If you have any specific question on identity and access management, whether it is specific to customer or enterprise, please do write to us. And if you like this video, please drop a comment, and please subscribe to this channel. It takes a lot of hard work to create these videos for you guys. And if you look at the sequence of videos, you get to know from A to Z about the zero trust concept, and then each component of it in depth. So I guess, yeah, please do provide your feedback, and please like, comment, and share with your colleagues, those who want to learn more about security and cybersecurity. Thank you very much. Have a great day.